Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your daily dose of English, where learning English is easy, practical, and fun. I'm Tom.
And I'm Sarah. Hi, Tom. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great, Sarah, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. You know, Tom, speaking of feeling great, I think today's topic is going to be so incredibly helpful for our listeners.
Oh, absolutely, Sarah. Today we're talking about something that everyone will experience at some point, going to the doctor's office. And I have to say, this is one of those situations where having the right English phrases can really reduce your stress.
It really can. You know, being sick or in pain is already stressful enough. But when you're trying to explain your symptoms in English, it can feel overwhelming. So today, we want to give you the confidence to walk into a doctor's office and communicate clearly.
That's right. We're going to cover how to make appointments, how to describe your symptoms, how to understand basic medical instructions, and most importantly, how to ask for clarification when you don't understand something. Because it's okay to say, I don't understand. Can you explain that again?
It's more than okay, Tom. It's actually really important. Your health is serious, so never be afraid to ask questions. And before we dive in, please remember to subscribe to your daily dose of English and give this episode a like. It helps us reach more English learners like you.
Yes, please do. And share this episode with anyone you know who's learning English. We love hearing from you. Okay, Sarah, let's start at the very beginning. How do you even make a doctor's appointment in English?
Good question, Tom. So, let's imagine you're not feeling well and you need to see a doctor. The first step is usually calling the doctor's office or the clinic. This can feel a bit scary, but it's actually pretty simple once you know the basic phrases.
Right? So when you call, the receptionist will usually answer and say something like, Good morning. This is Dr. Smith's office. How can I help you today? And you can respond with, Hi, I'd like to make an appointment, please.
Perfect, Tom. I'd like to make an appointment is such a useful phrase. It's polite and clear. You could also say, I need to see a doctor or I need to schedule an appointment.
And then the receptionist will probably ask you some questions. They might say, What's the reason for your visit? Or are you a new patient or an existing patient?
Yes, and this is where you give a brief explanation. You don't need to go into all the details on the phone. You can say something simple like, I have a bad cough, or I have a fever, or I hurt my ankle. Just a short description is fine.
Exactly. Keep it simple. And if you're a new patient, they'll ask for your information, your name, your date of birth, maybe your address and phone number. Don't worry if you need them to repeat something. You can always say, I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
That's such an important phrase, Tom. Could you repeat that, please? Write that one down, everyone. You'll use it a lot. And then the receptionist will offer you some appointment times. They might say, we have an opening on Tuesday at 10 a.m., or how about Wednesday afternoon?
And you can say, Yes, that works for me. Or, Actually, do you have anything earlier? Or, I'm sorry, I'm not available that day. Do you have another time?
Good examples. And once you agree on a time, they'll usually confirm the details. They'll say, okay, so that's Tuesday, March 15th at 10 a.m. We'll see you then. Please arrive 15 minutes early to fill out paperwork.
Arrive 15 minutes early. That's important to remember. Many doctors' offices want you to come a bit early, especially if you're a new patient, because you need to fill out forms about your medical history.
Yes, and when you hang up the phone, you can say, thank you so much. See you on Tuesday. Simple and polite. Okay, Tom, so you've made your appointment. Now let's talk about the actual visit. You arrive at the doctor's office. What happens next?
Well, Sarah, first you check in at the front desk. You tell them your name and the time of your appointment. You might say, Hi, I have a 10 a.m. appointment with Dr. Smith. My name is Tom Johnson.
Perfect. And they'll usually ask you to have a seat in the waiting room. They might say, please have a seat. The nurse will call you shortly, so you sit down and wait for your name to be called.
And when they call your name, you follow the nurse to the examination room. Now, this is where some important medical vocabulary comes in. The nurse will usually check your vital signs first. Do our listeners know what vital signs are?
Great question. Vital signs are the basic measurements of your body's important functions. The nurse will check things like your blood pressure, which measures the force of your blood against your artery walls, your temperature to see if you have a fever, your pulse or heart rate, which is how fast your heart is beating, and sometimes your weight and height.
And the nurse might say things like, I'm going to take your blood pressure now, or let me check your temperature. They'll put a cuff around your arm for blood pressure and a thermometer in your mouth or ear for temperature.
Yes, and it's totally normal if you don't understand every word. You can just follow their gentle instructions. If they ask you to sit still or open your mouth, you'll understand from their gestures too. Communication isn't just words, right?
Exactly, Sarah. Body language helps a lot. Okay, so after the nurse checks your vital signs, the doctor will come in. And this is the most important part, describing your symptoms. This is where you really need some good English phrases.
Yes, Tom. Symptoms are the signs that tell you something is wrong with your body. Like if you have a headache, that's a symptom. If you feel dizzy, that's a symptom. The doctor needs to understand your symptoms to figure out what's wrong and how to help you.
Right? So let's talk about some common ways to describe symptoms. You can start with very simple phrases like, I have a, and then add the symptom. For example, I have a headache, I have a fever, I have a cough, I have a sore throat.
Those are great, Tom. I have a is probably the easiest and most common way to start. You can also say, I feel, and then describe how you feel, like I feel dizzy, I feel nauseous, I feel tired, I feel weak.
Yes, and another useful phrase is, it hurts when. This helps you explain what makes the pain worse. For example, it hurts when I swallow. It hurts when I bend my knee. It hurts when I breathe deeply.
Oh, that's really helpful. And you can also describe where the pain is located. You can say, I have pain in my chest, or my back hurts, or my stomach is bothering me.
Exactly. Let's think about some specific body parts that are useful to know. You have your head, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your back, your stomach or abdomen, your arms, your legs, your hands, your feet. Knowing these basic body parts helps you pinpoint where the problem is.
Yes, and don't forget smaller parts too. Your throat, your ear, your eye, your nose, your tooth or teeth, if it's more than one. These come up a lot in doctor visits. Tom, I have a sore throat is something we say all the time, especially during cold season.
So true. And here's another important thing. Doctors will want to know when the symptoms started and how severe they are. So they might ask, when did this start? Or how long have you been feeling this way?
And you can answer with time expressions. You can say, it started yesterday, or I've been feeling this way for 3 days, or this has been going on for about a week.
Good examples. And they'll also want to know about severity. So they might ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is the pain? Where 10 is the worst pain you've ever felt.
And you can say it's about a 6 or it's pretty mild, maybe a 3. This helps the doctor understand how serious your symptoms are. Another question they might ask is, does anything make it better or worse?
Yes, that's a good one. You might say, it gets worse when I move. Or it feels better when I lie down, or it's worse in the morning. Or eating makes it worse. These details really help the doctor figure out what's wrong.
Absolutely. Now, let's imagine a complete dialogue between a patient and a doctor so our listeners can hear how all of this comes together. Tom, you be the doctor, and I'll be the patient, okay?
Sounds good, Sarah. Let's do it. Good morning. I'm Dr. Wilson. Nice to meet you. What brings you in today?
Good morning, doctor. Nice to meet you too. I haven't been feeling well for the past few days. I have a really bad headache, and I feel very tired.
I see. Tell me more about the headache. Where exactly does it hurt?
It's mostly here, in the front of my head, around my forehead, and sometimes it spreads to the sides, near my temples.
Okay. When did the headache start?
It started about 4 days ago. At first, it wasn't too bad, but it's been getting worse.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the pain right now?
Right now, I'd say it's about a 7. It's pretty painful.
Does anything make it better or worse?
Bright lights make it worse. And it hurts more when I'm standing up and moving around. When I lie down in a dark room, it feels a little better.
Have you taken any medication for the headache?
Yes, I've been taking ibuprofen, but it only helps for a couple of hours, and then the pain comes back.
Okay. You also mentioned feeling very tired. Tell me about that.
Yes, I just have no energy. Even when I sleep a full night, I wake up feeling exhausted. It's hard to concentrate at work.
Do you have any other symptoms? Like fever, nausea, or body aches?
I did have a low fever yesterday. It was about 99 degrees Fahrenheit, but it went away. No nausea, though my neck feels a bit stiff.
A stiff neck. That's important to know. Can you touch your chin to your chest for me?
It's a bit difficult. It feels tight and uncomfortable when I try to do that.
Okay, thank you. Based on your symptoms, it sounds like you might have a viral infection, possibly a mild case of flu or a tension headache combined with fatigue. I'm going to examine you a bit more and then we'll discuss the treatment.
Okay, thank you, doctor.
And we're back. Great dialogue, Sarah. You did an excellent job describing your symptoms clearly.
Thank you, Tom. It's interesting how many details the doctor asked for, right? They don't just want to know what hurts. They want to know when it started, where exactly it hurts, how bad it is, and what makes it better or worse.
Exactly. Those details help them make an accurate diagnosis. And did you notice Sarah used some really helpful phrases? She said, "I haven't been feeling well for the past few days." That's a great opening sentence. It tells the doctor right away that this isn't a sudden emergency, but something that's been developing.
Yes, and I also said, it's mostly here, pointing to my forehead. Combining words with gestures is really helpful, especially if you're not sure of the exact medical term for a body part.
So true. And when the doctor asked about the pain level, you gave a number, 7 out of 10. This is a common way doctors measure pain. They call it a pain scale. 1 is almost no pain. 10 is unbearable pain.
And I also mentioned that ibuprofen only helps for a couple of hours. That's the name of a common pain medication. It's important to tell your doctor what medications you've already tried because it helps them decide what to prescribe or recommend next.
Good point. Now let's talk about some other common symptoms and how to describe them. What if you have a cold, Sarah? What are the typical symptoms?
Well, with a cold, you might have a runny nose, which means liquid is coming out of your nose. You might have a stuffy nose or a blocked nose, which means you can't breathe through your nose easily. You'll probably have a cough and maybe a sore throat, which means your throat feels painful when you swallow. And you might sneeze a lot.
Perfect descriptions. And what about the flu? How is that different from a cold?
The flu usually has more severe symptoms. You'll have a high fever, which is a temperature above 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. You'll have body aches, which means your muscles hurt all over. You feel extremely tired and weak. You might have a headache and chills, which means you feel cold and shaky even though you might have a fever.
And some people with the flu also have stomach problems, right?
Yes, especially children. You might have nausea, which is the feeling that you want to vomit. Or you might actually vomit, which means to throw up. And you could have diarrhea, which is looser, watery bowel movements. These stomach symptoms are less common in adults with flu, but they can happen.
Now let's talk about injuries. What if you hurt yourself? Like you twisted your ankle or cut your finger. How do you describe that?
Good question. For a twisted ankle, you might say, I twisted my ankle or I sprained my ankle. You can describe it by saying, my ankle is swollen, which means it's bigger than normal, and it's bruised, which means it has a purple or blue mark from the injury. And of course, it hurts to walk.
And what about cuts or wounds?
For a cut, you can say, I cut my finger or I have a cut on my hand. If it's bleeding a lot, you say it's bleeding heavily or it won't stop bleeding. If it's a deep cut, you might need stitches, which are medical threads that close the wound.
Yes, and burns are another common injury. If you touch something hot, you might say, I burn my hand. Burns have different degrees. A first-degree burn is mild and only affects the top layer of skin, like a sunburn. A second-degree burn causes blisters. A third-degree burn is very serious and damages deep layers of skin.
These are all really important to know. Now, Tom, after you describe your symptoms and the doctor examines you, they'll give you a diagnosis. That's their conclusion about what's wrong, and then they'll discuss treatment, which is how to make you feel better. Let's talk about common treatments and medical instructions.
Great idea. So the doctor might say several things. They might say you need to rest. That means stay home, don't go to work or school, and let your body recover. They might say drink plenty of fluids. That means drink lots of water, juice, or tea to stay hydrated.
They might also say, take this medication 3 times a day. When they say 3 times a day, they mean morning, afternoon, and evening, usually with meals. And they'll specify, take it with food or take it on an empty stomach, which means before you eat.
And sometimes they'll prescribe medication. A prescription is a written order for medication that you take to a pharmacy. The doctor might say, I'm going to write you a prescription for antibiotics. Antibiotics are medicines that fight bacterial infections.
Common medications you might hear about include antibiotics for bacterial infections, pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen for pain and fever, cough syrup for coughs, and decongestants for stuffy noses. Oh, and if you have allergies, they might prescribe antihistamines.
Those are great to know. And sometimes the doctor will give you specific instructions. They might say, apply ice to the swollen area for 20 minutes every hour. Or they might say, keep the wound clean and dry. Or use this cream twice a day.
And here's a really important one. Doctors often say, if your symptoms don't improve in 3 days, come back and see me. Or, if your symptoms get worse, go to the emergency room immediately. These are important follow-up instructions.
Yes, and this brings us to a crucial point, Sarah. What if you don't understand what the doctor is saying? Medical English can be complicated. Doctors sometimes use technical terms. And when you're not feeling well, it's even harder to concentrate. So what should you do?
You asked for clarification, Tom, and there's absolutely no shame in that. Your health is too important to pretend you understand when you don't. There are some very useful phrases for this.
Exactly. You can say, I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Could you explain it again? Or you can say, I'm sorry, could you say that more slowly? Or could you repeat that, please?
Another good one is, what does that word mean? If the doctor uses a medical term you don't know, just ask. They should be happy to explain. You can also say, can you write that down for me? This is especially helpful for medication names or instructions.
Yes, and you can ask specific questions too. Like, how many times a day should I take this? Or how long do I need to take this medication? Or, are there any side effects I should know about? Side effects are unwanted symptoms that a medication can cause.
Good examples, and don't be afraid to ask, when should I start feeling better? Or when can I go back to work? Or do I need to come back for a follow-up appointment? These are all normal, important questions.
Absolutely. A follow-up appointment is when you see the doctor again to check if the treatment is working. Sometimes doctors will schedule this automatically, and sometimes you need to call if your symptoms don't improve.
Now let's practice another short dialogue. This time, I'll be the patient asking for clarification. Sarah, you be the doctor giving instructions.
Okay, sounds good. So you need to take this antibiotic twice a day for 7 days. Take 1 pill in the morning and 1 pill in the evening, both with food. It's very important to finish all the pills, even if you start feeling better before the 7 days are up.
I'm sorry, doctor. Could you repeat that part about taking it with food? Does that mean I have to eat a full meal, or can I just have a snack?
Good question. You don't need a full meal. Even a small snack like a piece of toast or some crackers is fine. The important thing is to have something in your stomach, so the medication doesn't upset your stomach.
Okay, I understand. And you said 7 days. What if I start feeling better after 4 days? Can I stop taking it?
No, it's very important to take all the pills for the full 7 days. If you stop early, the infection might come back, and it could be harder to treat the next time. So even if you feel better, keep taking the medication until you finish all of it.
Got it. And one more question. Are there any side effects I should watch out for?
Yes, some people experience mild nausea or diarrhea with this antibiotic. If that happens, it's usually not serious. But if you develop a rash, severe stomach pain, or difficulty breathing, stop taking it and call me immediately.
Thank you, doctor. Can you write down the name of the medication for me? I want to make sure I get the right one at the pharmacy.
Of course. Here you go. It's written on this prescription. Just take this to any pharmacy, and they'll give you the medication.
Perfect. Thank you so much for explaining everything clearly. And scene. Excellent, Tom. You asked all the right questions. You asked for clarification. You asked about details. And you asked about side effects. That's exactly what you should do.
Thank you, Sarah. And did you notice I used phrases like, could you repeat that part about, and what if I start feeling better? These are really natural ways to ask for more information without sounding rude or unsure.
Yes, and I also like how you asked, can you write down the name of the medication? That's so practical. Medication names can be really difficult to remember or spell, so having it written down helps a lot.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the pharmacy, because after you see the doctor, you'll often need to get medication. At the pharmacy, you give the pharmacist your prescription and they'll prepare your medication. This is called filling a prescription. And when you pick up your medication, the pharmacist will usually give you instructions. They might say things we already discussed, like take 1 tablet twice a day with food. They'll also tell you about side effects and answer any questions you have.
You can ask the pharmacist questions too. Questions like, how should I store this medication? Some medications need to be kept in the refrigerator. Or you can ask, can I take this with other medications I'm already taking? This is important because some medications don't mix well together.
Great point. And if you have insurance, the pharmacist will also tell you how much the medication costs. You might ask, how much is my copay? Or is this covered by my insurance?
Yes, medical costs can be confusing, especially if you're new to a country. A copay is the amount you pay, and your insurance pays the rest. If you don't have insurance, the medication might be more expensive. But you can ask, do you have a generic version? Generic medications are usually cheaper, but work the same way as brand name medications.
That's helpful to know. Okay, Sarah, before we wrap up, let's do a quick review of all the essential vocabulary and phrases we've covered today. This has been a lot of information, so let's make sure our listeners have the key takeaways.
Great idea. So first, for making an appointment, remember these phrases. I'd like to make an appointment. I need to see a doctor. The reason for my visit is I have a cough or fever or pain. And when they give you a time, you can say, that works for me. Or do you have another time available?
Perfect. And at the doctor's office, you'll hear, have a seat in the waiting room. The nurse will check your vital signs like blood pressure, temperature, and pulse. And when the doctor asks what's wrong, you describe your symptoms.
Yes, use phrases like, I have a headache. I feel dizzy. It hurts when I swallow. I have pain in my chest. My back hurts. Describe where the pain is, when it started, and how severe it is on a scale of 1 to 10.
And remember body parts. Your head, neck, chest, back, stomach, arms, legs, throat, ear, and any other part that hurts. And tell the doctor what makes it better or worse. It gets worse when I move. It feels better when I lie down.
For common symptoms, remember runny nose, stuffy nose, sore throat, cough, fever, body aches, chills, nausea, dizziness, and fatigue. And for injuries, swollen, bruised, bleeding, cut, burn, twisted ankle, or sprained.
When the doctor gives you instructions, listen for rest, drink fluids, take this medication, apply ice, keep it clean, and if symptoms don't improve, come back. And don't forget to ask for clarification. I didn't understand, could you explain again? Could you say that more slowly? What does that word mean? Can you write that down for me?
And at the pharmacy, you fill your prescription. Ask about side effects, how to store the medication, and the cost. You can also ask for a generic version to save money.
Wow, Tom, we covered so much today. I really hope our listeners feel more confident about going to the doctor now.
Me too, Sarah. The key thing to remember is, don't be afraid to communicate. Your health is the most important thing, and doctors and nurses want to help you. If you don't understand something, ask. If you're worried about something, mention it. They're there to take care of you.
Exactly. And even if your English isn't perfect, you can still communicate effectively. Use simple words, point to where it hurts, ask for help when you need it. That's what matters most. And one more thing. Many hospitals and clinics have interpreters or translation services if you're really struggling with English. Don't hesitate to ask, do you have an interpreter available? Or is there someone who speaks my language? It's okay to ask for that support.
That's a great point, Tom. There are also apps and translation tools you can use on your phone to help you communicate in a medical setting. Technology can be a helpful backup when you're not sure about a word or phrase. Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope this was helpful and that you feel more prepared for your next doctor's visit.
Yes, remember, practice makes perfect. You can practice these phrases at home, role play with a friend, or even just say them out loud to yourself. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel.
Before we go, we want to thank all of you for listening to your daily dose of English. If you found this episode helpful, please give us a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future episodes.
And please share this with your friends who are learning English. We love building this community of learners together. Also, leave us a comment below. Tell us, have you ever been to a doctor's office in an English-speaking country? What was your experience like? Or if you haven't, what part of visiting a doctor worries you the most? We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we read all your comments, and they give us great ideas for future episodes. And if there's a specific topic you'd like us to cover, let us know in the comments.
Thank you all so much for being part of your daily dose of English family. Keep practicing, stay healthy, and remember, every conversation is a chance to improve your English.
Until next time, take care, everyone.
Goodbye and happy learning.